Hello everybody, Martin here, playing Legacy League with Ad Nauseam Tendrils. I'm currently 2 rounds into the league. I am 2-0, and I'm playing this list. I'm very happy so far with this list. I feel like I've somewhat hit a bit of a balancing point that I'm very pleased with. So you see the blue cards, 12 regulars, and then 1 preordain. Got both Ad Nauseam and Empty the Warrens. 2 Passing Flames, 1 Tendrils. No Dark Petition, no Grim Tutor. Got a Singleton Chromox to sort of up the effectiveness of Ad Nauseam. Cut down to 3/3 of the discard spells due to running a second Passing Flames. That kind of gives us a bit more robustness against counter magic. I kind of miss the second Tendrils from time to time, but that's about it. So the sideboard. I settled on 3 Hercules Recall. Obviously a concession to the Eldrazi decks. I've used them and been quite happy with them against Aggro Loam. I've faced that a couple of times, and there it is really nice as well. Right now I'm running 1 Xantid Swarm, 1 Chain of Vapor. I really want 2 Swarms, but I also really want the 1 Chain. I've played it a couple of times without it, and I feel quite naked. Like you want to be able to bounce those pesky white ley lines, even though no one's really running them, and also just it's nice to be able to bring in against Death and Taxes to accompany the Dread of Night. 1 mana versus 2 off color is a lot. Burning the 2 Pithing Needles and Tendrils, and this is another thing that I'm really happy about, is that post board I'm able to revert pretty effectively into like grinding station territory versus miracles, and the needles feel really good there as well. So alright, looks like our round 3 opponent is ready, so let's jump into that. And yeah, rounds 1 and 2 I don't have them recorded. I faced what's the name, Shardless Bug, and then like a Bant Blade. Okay, so we're on the draw. I think this is a fine hand. I will preface this by saying I recognize the name of this opponent. I've faced them a couple of times playing like the Zombardment deck, and they've just destroyed me. I feel like that should be a fine matchup, but I've just been kind of wrecked by them, but we'll see. They might not be on that deck. You too, buddy. So yeah, well, Bloodstained Mire leads me to believe that I am correct in my assumption. So like what's really good out of that deck is, like against us, is Deathrite Shaman and Cabal Therapy main deck. I think he also runs Probe, actually, if I could be wrong about that. Him not doing anything on turn 1 leads me to believe he has an Entomb he wants to shoot off and go get either a Therapy or a Bridge from Below. So like we can either dress, but that requires us to fetch, and like I don't think he's running Hymn to Torok in the main deck, at least. I could be wrong, and that's a big pun if I am, but I think I'm just going to play out the island and say go, and then brainstorm next turn, hope to find like a Lineside Diamond. And my opponent apparently play. Oh, my opponent is from Denmark. As am I. Wow, isn't this a hoot? Apparently my opponent went 4-1 in the Legacy Challenge, which was last night, and then lost the last 2 rounds. So I actually think this deck has legs. the way it's been built now. It's not the only person I've seen playing it. It's like the old Sam Black styles, Zombie Bombardment, Gravecrawler, Bloodghast kind of thing, but they spice it up. And pardon me to the puritans of this deck if that's always been the case and I just didn't know it, but they are spicing it up with like Entombs and Bridge from Below, and that's quite effective. I've definitely been like killed from a life total of 10 plus kind of thing in one attack with a carry-on feeder that just got to like pump itself. Okay, so they are therapying us here, and I think we have to name Brainstorm. They know what we're on, and leaving them open mana suggests it. Right. So the thing is, like, if we don't get rid of the tendrils, we won't be able to get Hellbent. We kind of want to save the tutor. That leaves us, though, with 3 lands. But I think that's the correct thing to do, and we just have to duress them on our next turn, fetching, and then hope we draw something interesting. Like alternatively, we put back, regardless of what we do, brainstorming now, we can't get Hellbent next turn. We would be at least stuck with 1 land we couldn't play. Oh, they named Counterbalance. I was for sure they knew what we were playing because I've played them only with this deck. I think I've only played them with this deck. Are they missing on land drops? Oh, that'd be really good. Oh, okay. Well, kind of. Well, so the frustrating thing, obviously, is that they can follow this up with any kind of creature next turn. They will get to flash back that therapy and take one of our rituals. But I guess, like, worse things can happen. Ooh. That is an interesting hand. Double therapy into bombardment. I think we actually just kind of have to take the therapy because, like, they draw a land or a creature they can sack to the tower, they get double black, they take both our rituals, and we're set back kind of a long way. They can also, like, entomb for a creature. Entombing for Bloodghast if they find a land is also, especially if it's like a fetch land, then they can flashback with like both therapies. I guess we could also take Entomb. So yeah. I think we just take a therapy, hope that they don't hit a land. I think either way we're, like, if they hit a land or they, like, if we take the Entomb and they hit a land, then they double therapy us. If we take therapy and they hit a land, then they can Entomb and play the land, get back Bloodghast, and can therapy us once, and if it's a fetch land, they can therapy us twice. Okay, so I take the Cabal Ritual, fair enough. Okay, come on, Lines on Island. Oh, come on. That's really bad. For some reason, this is what seems to happen to me when I'm playing against this guy. Yeah, there's a Bloodghast. Oh, there's a fetch land. Okay. We lose all of our shit. Okay, so they have bombardment and like an unknown. I still hope to just like draw ad nauseum next turn and then like play it out. Oh, they're not taking the Dark Ritual. That surprises me. So, another hand. I guess they attack us here if they find another land, then they flashback therapy and then play the Bloodghast again. Okay, Death Right. If I'm him here, I definitely take the Dark Ritual there, because that means I'm so much less likely to get going before he gets to untap with his Death Right. But I, of course, just draw a blank. This is depressing. So they probably run. Abrupt Decay. That could be a card in their hand. But could also just be like Bridge from Below or something. And I think playing this out, if he decays it, then likely he'll have to use his Death Right, and that's like another turn where Death Right doesn't come online to mess with my graveyard. And if he doesn't, I'd rather have it in play, like if he's not holding Decay. Just to not have it discarded. It means like a tutor off the top. Or whatever. Well, he's found some, yeah, green. Okay, so probably has Decay. Oh, okay, Satyr Wayfinder. So he gets to reel the top 4 cards and put a land from them and the rest into his graveyard. So it's nice that he gets to put stuff into his graveyard. And he reveals, well, nothing he wanted in his graveyard. I guess that's a slight win. Again, he's open now with his Death Right on being tapped. If we draw a tutor or Passing Flames. Okay, sure. Take Dark Ritual. Him not having Decay for the blinds that means basically like doesn't matter. He can take both our rituals and we're still like alive with the tutor into Passing Flames. Yeah. Yep. Taking the Cabal Ritual. Come on, deck. Well, Ponder's good. Ponder lets us hopefully find a tutor. I guess we take the Brainstorm, right? And then we fetch. So wait, we will have another land and the pedal, so that's 4, that's 7. Yeah. Come on then. Are you? God damn it. I guess guess we probe once. They're holding a bombardment. Okay, I guess we probably then lose. They have expended 3 of their therapies. I'm not really that worried about them finding another one to take my lines out. I mean, I think it's probably actually safer in hand now. So we'll get pounded down to 8, a virtual 6 with the Deathray Shaman. They can shoot us twice. That's 4. So we're kind of getting to, like, we have to win on this turn, and we don't. That's frustrating. That's really frustrating. And obviously this doesn't get better for us after sideboarding. I guess Needle is kind of helpful. I'm going to afford to take out one of the Passing Flames. I guess even though, like, we needed to top deck something there, in the Passing Flames would have been nice. I don't think we want anything else. It's doubtful that you have a lot of stuff that would need to be bounced, like Cage or something, because they're missing their own graveyard a lot, so Cage wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, disappointing because they didn't really have a lot in that game. Oh, excuse me. I guess they had all those therapies. That wasn't the worst. So I would expect them to bring in more discard and surgical extraction. Maybe pyroblast effects, though. That seems, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind this. We keep this, and I think we just lead on Needle, because I think if we stop their death right, that means a lot. And I think then we play out the LED. And then, like, we hope they don't probe Therapias. We hope they at most Therapias, and then they won't think to name Ponder. But looks like we're wrong. I guess if I pedal Ponder, then that's a 2-for-1 also, but only I get to, like, use a Ponder, so maybe I should have done that. I don't know if I'm supposed to just play that Stone Cold around them having. Okay, so what would we want to take with our therapy? I guess Entomb, or maybe actually, I guess more so Surgical Extraction. We don't. They have nothing. They have double looting. They have a grave crawler. They have a delta, a wayfinder, and a swamp. Okay. So I think actually we play out this pedal because I'd rather have it in play than have it be the only card they know that we have and then have it discarded. Yeah, they loot, obviously. so they can dump the grave crawler, and like if they find a bridge from below or another therapy or a bloodghast. Okay, so we're kind of screwed if they find like an artifact answer, like an engineered explosives, if they have that, or like null rod. So that was the delta. What did they bin? They bin the therapy and the other looting. They didn't bin the grave crawler. Interesting. I guess because they can't get it back right now. Well, there's a death right. I suppose we just have to hope they don't find a way to shut off that pithing needle. And we just draw a Stone Cold Break, like a card we can't use it and we don't want it in hand in case they have like extraction or whatever. A way to turn on Deathrite Shaman and yeah. Okay, well, if they get this tendrils out of our hand and into the yard, then we're down to empty the warrants as our only one condition. They even get to flash it back. This ancient grudge. I guess it's fair enough. I mean, on the one hand, I feel like, why are you bringing an ancient grudge? As, like, I don't think it's that normal for me to be bringing in, like, artifacts worth, and, like, playing out my artifacts, but I guess it is what I'm doing, so. So, what are they doing here? Wayfinder? Yeah. So what did they reveal? Let's have a look. No lands, so all that goes into the yard. There's a bloodghast. I swear to God, every single one of my games against this guy feels to play out like this. I'm just struggling. And when I say every single, I think maybe I've played him 5 times now. Okay, they're just all in, and I'm looting. There's a bridge from below. Here comes trouble. I think he's supposed to flashback therapy, sacking the satyr, getting a zombie from the bridge, then maybe get greedy and use Deathrite to make a mana with your delta in the yard and cast the Gravecrawler from the yard, and then flashback like the Gravecrawler probably with a second therapy. But no, do that. Come on, one time. No. Oh gosh, we just can't. We don't get anything. Yeah, exile a land. Flashback the Ancient Grudge. Sure, makes sense. Now we're stuck with that tendrils. Now he just gets to go crazy with the bridge from below, sacking stuff to his carry-on feeder. I don't get why I'm not being therapied at all. Yeah, okay. And there are 3 therapies in the yard. And we are getting our whole hand stripped here, I'm assuming. Yep. So we're dead. Come on, guy. There is nothing to think about. If I'm them, I sack my Wayfinder now, get another zombie, and then I sack one of the zombies. And I don't worry about that. Then he is that just so far ahead. Yeah. He might even just feel like it's safe to leave me with the tendrils in hand. Oh, okay, I guess not. He names tendrils again. That's a misclicked. Yeah. Well, I guess there are no more therapies on the immediate horizon. I hope. Okay, yeah, sure. So, if for some reason he neglects to leave up his death right and take my tendrils, I guess there is a slight chance we can win if we draw like into a tutor, but I doubt it. He's sitting on like there was a card in his hand last turn he didn't play. It might be like I don't know, like a surgical extraction. Either way, we take 5 here. They ship the turn, I guess, or they just take tendrils now. Sigh. Okay, so how much are we taking next turn? We get drained down to 10, then we take 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah. We're dead. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to get my revenge another time.